last night on the Bachelorette Men Tell All.
This man is lying. He's trying to change the narrative.
That's not false. That's not false whatsoever.
Hey, right there. Let's stop that right there. Boy, talking about his sister. I know what she was trying to do, sliding in my DMs. Yes, I had the pizza, and it was dry.
That was the pizza from the hotel.
But she slid in my DMs like it was whole plate.
Welcome to the Bachelorette Men Tell All, where all of our favorite guys, not you, are here to rehash old dirt and dish out the juicy details on Michelle's season of The Bachelorette. And normally, this is also some of the men's first opportunity to display if they have enough presence and charm to be considered for the next Bachelor. But since Clayton already has that job, it's paradise or bust. And let me tell you, some of these guys did not come to play. They are out here fighting, and I mean sometimes they were literally fighting for a spot in paradise. Like Casey.
He walks into the room. With catchphrases like, but you're no.
Or Will.
Tell your sister to stay out of my DMs.
Yeah,
Tell your sister to stay out of my DMs.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Time to bring out the men of Michelle's season, including Guy Fieri, Millhouse, Romeo, wherefore art thou screen time? I can't believe he actually showed up. Dax Shepard. Definitely remember this guy. Definitely remember him too. Just gonna leave this right here.
Pardeep, he couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat, folks.
Swolu Olu loves his jacket, hates his jacket. Tablemate, and an apple a day keeps the Bachelor roll away. Aw, I just made myself a little sad there. So the tell-all begins with a classic rehashing of all the drama from the season to get the guys nice and riled up. And surprise, surprise, Will starts off by immediately going after pizzapreneur Peter.
It was about his business, about pizza. It was nothing never about Michelle. Bro, you went on the wrong show. This is the show to find love. If you really wanted to promote your business, you should have went on Shark Tank.
You know what?
And with that, this tell-all absolutely descends into madness. We have Casey ragging on Peter as well.
People don't realize, because you only see a snippet of Peter, is that he's awful all day long. There's 30 guys, but only one person can't shut the up.
We have Peter calling himself a pizza boy, able to provide for his family. Will then gives this update about Peter's family.
My sister.
Tell your sister to stay out of my DMs.
Yeah,
I don't know what she was trying to do, sliding in my DMs, but she slid in my DMs like it was whole plate.
Caitlin then has to channel her inner teacher Michelle and tries to quiet the class.
You should come at me about it.
You know, your sister came at me.
Peter! Excuse
Get a hold of your
me!
family and we can't lose this man.
Excuse me!
And finally, Peter accuses Will of sending in fake bad reviews for his pizza business, like pizza was late, overcooked, and the owner is a cowardly child, or pizza tasted like it was drenched in pool water, or Sam, the first night at bed when you left, Ron made out with 2 girls. By the way, these are so fake. Speaking of fake, this happens next.
Willie Joel Arena, you've been served
Subpoena?
for defamation of character.
Come at me, bro. It's a little taste what's gonna happen in real life. Rest in pizza.
Did this man actually say the sentence, rest in pizza? And apparently this lady was such a Peter fan, she went out to her local arts and crafts store to make a pizza boy sign for the night. We then dive into the Ryan stuff. You know, the guy who had the Bachelor notes that Tayshia and Caitlin found in episode 1. He reiterates that he didn't write the notes, and I don't blame him for that because whoever typed out the sentence, "be descriptive on describing things," should be more embarrassed than Ryan. Casey then brings up how Ryan was the Bachelor during a Bachelor live show, so why did he need notes on what the franchise was, which is followed by Ryan apologizing for taking up time that could have gone to other men on night 1, and Pardeep lays him out.
You got caught, and that's why you're apologizing. If you made it all the way to top 5, top 4, your mouth would be shut right now, and no one would know about those notes.
We then move on to Martin and his whole females, Miami girls are high maintenance, I'd never give Michelle a shot, finasco. Which Martin says, at least when it comes to that not giving Michelle a shot comment, came from him feeling like Michelle wasn't giving him an opportunity to explain himself.
She wasn't giving me the shot to explain myself in the moment. I felt like I wasn't respected in the moment, and that's why I said I wouldn't give her a shot.
That's not what I heard on the streets.
I love how every 5 minutes Will just bulldozes in with some random comment. Like he is not playing around. He's shooting his shot for paradise. What do you got for us this time, Will?
The rumor on the street was, Martin, that throughout the whole process of the show, you had a girlfriend.
I didn't have a girlfriend.
Now, Martin denies this, and everyone else kinda chuckles. Martin says he has a girlfriend now, but not while the show was filming. Casey then says this.
Martin, you had a girlfriend, let's be honest. You told Peter, and Peter's the loudest mouth in the world, so once it came back around and I heard everyone was talking about it, I'm like, come on.
Man, Peter keeps taking shots all night. Even though he's been absolutely dragged, every time he turns around, it's like... Next on the hit list is Chris S. We all saw what happened with him calling out the dudes for thinking they have this in the bag. But now it's time for Rick to call him out.
I don't believe him right now, and the reason why is there was at one point he told me he said better looking women his
and Michelle.
Of course, Peter then chimes in saying this is a he said situation and that's his opinion. So here's Rick's opinion on that opinion.
Well, Peter, nobody gives a about your opinion anymore,
Chris,
right?
Now, speaking of Chris, earlier in the show they put up this clip as part of the drama montage.
Based off the you just pulled.
People like Olu who just like have a small IQ, can't let things go, they all hate me.
And as I saw that, I thought, whoa, that's harsh. Did they air that during the show? Well, apparently this also caught the attention of Olu, who now gets his turn to respond.
Don't you ever in your life say I have a low IQ, literally. You're looking at black excellence right here.
Let's go.
All Chris could say to that is, I've got nothing to say. Well, once the dust has settled, it's time for the hot seat segments. First up is someone who's actually not there yet. No, it's not Clayton, he's filming his season and so he couldn't be there. Actually, it's Jamie. Now first, they discuss how Jamie got off to a really great start. After all, he had the first one-on-one of the season. But after that, it all went downhill. He had that comment about Michelle being on spring break, he had those rumors swirling around about the men doubting Michelle's intentions, and then lying about it to everyone, and it appears as though during filming, most of the men really looked up to Jamie.
I felt like you were genuine at first, but to see that, it's like I got stabbed in the back, bro, straight up.
We had this vision of you, we had this image of you, and then you hurt that.
You were the type of guy I thought would have stood behind whatever you had to say or whatever you had to think about.
But then they figured everything out. And as Casey puts it, there were two Jamies. The in-person Jamie and the on-camera Jamie.
There's two different Jamies. There's one who's in the room who's telling us all, you're amazing, you're a magnificent spirit, Tony Robbins all day, and it was BS. Because as soon as he got off camera, he's saying, yo, these guys aren't.
And Jamie just can't fully own up to everything. He continues deflecting, saying, didn't we sit around and talk about this in a circle? Or there are two understandings of this. Or I wanted to own up to it. Or I'm not gonna play along with this narrative. And that is kind of where it's left. So next, they bring up Rick to contrast the drama with something more touching. They replay his time on the show and talk about how nervous he is to see Michelle again. But instead of bringing her out to go over their relationship, the show pulls out this.
All right.
That's a cake.
That's much better.
That's a cake.
Is it really?
That's a cake.
Wait a minute, why do I feel like I've seen this before?
Your costume is fantastic.
I know. I said I'm waiting for it in July from a catalog.
And that's pretty much it for Rick's hot seat. Next, they announce Rodney's turn, but before they get there, Caitlin wants to talk to Tayshia. She's noticed that Tayshia is not wearing her engagement ring and asks what's going on between her and Zach.
I'm heartbroken. But we tried really hard. And I still love him very much.
Wow, that's really, really, really sad. Okay, Rodney's turn.
Rodney, come on up here.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly how it went down. To the point where Tayshia actually walks out after they sit down with Rodney because they couldn't give her 5 minutes. Like, you didn't even give her a full season, the least you could do is give her some time to collect herself before moving on to Rodney's segment. So, you know the deal with these hot seats. They play another montage of Rodney and Michelle's time together before Rodney talks about what went wrong, which in his view is likely because of how slow he moved with her. He also talks about his parents knowing what was up when he showed up off the show so soon after his hometown. But all in all, he wishes Michelle nothing but the best and hopes she finds her true love. Oh, and if this isn't a nod to Rodney being eyed for paradise, I don't know what is.
Thank you so much for being here. All of us hope you find love. Maybe on the beaches of Mexico.
Now, before they bring Michelle out, the show covers some unseen footage that was cut from the show, like these horrifying butter sculptures from the farm group date and the time that Caitlyn and Tayshia decided to shine black lights on the dudes' beds. So thankful they brought those images into my life. Then we finish with Rodney being a king once again.
This one's for you, okay?
Now at this point, production has looked at their watches and saw that they needed to fill in another minute of airtime, so, well, this happened.
We love you, Rodney! Woo!
After that, we spend a few minutes talking about Clayton, and all the men talk him up and say how great of a bachelor he's going to be, and this lady holds up a sign that says Clayton for Bachelor. I love how they included the crying laughing emoji to let us know that they're just joking. And this is all the lead up to another sneak peek for Clayton's season, which does have quite a lot of info that we're going to talk about in tomorrow's video. Then finally, Michelle is brought out. So for the most part, this is a very typical lead sit-down at a tell-all. These always include tons of compliments from the contestants to the lead, saying how grateful they are for their experience. And Michelle expresses her admiration for most of the guys, specifically Rick, Rodney, and Olu. She then covers Jamie, and her main problem with him was how he preached about being a positive person, but that's not what he was showcasing 100% of the time. Also, he doesn't seem to be taking ownership of his actions.
And I took a lot of care while we were on the show to not talk about anybody in a negative manner.
In front of their face.
That's not even accurate, though.
Eventually, Michelle shuts down the conversation, and Jamie gives this apology.
Those words did come out of my mouth, and so thank you for sharing how you were feeling. For me to be able to get that perspective, I was in the wrong, and I apologize for that.
And thus begins the apology tour, as we hit up Martin for calling Michelle's trauma immature and everything he said in the limo.
I'm here as a man apologizing for what I said in that very moment. I'm not saying that it was okay, I'm apologizing for it.
And then Chris for speaking over Michelle and all the drama he caused.
I know you said that, I'd spoke over you and taken your voice, and I just want to truly apologize. It's nice to see you, and I hope you're doing well, and, you found your soulmate.
And in the end, Michelle buries the hatchet with both men. Oh, and speaking of, Peter brings out pizza for the whole class to end the night, and...
Oh, you want to bury the hat right now? Let's bury the hat. You want to shake and be bygones? I'll put my hand out.
And as the tell-all ends, we learn the greatest lesson of all. Pizza truly brings the world together. So that's it for this recap of the Season 18 Men Tell All. I hope you enjoyed it, and be sure to give the video a like if you did. Michelle's season returns to Tuesday nights next week, where we'll be on to Fantasy Suites in Mexico. And there's a lot of preview footage to cover in the days ahead. So, until next video, Bachelor Fantake, out.
You know what, guys? I am a pizza boy. Good. Rest in pizza.